All right, so we're going to talk about elimination when it comes to solving two equations, two unknowns. And the big deal about elimination is that in order to eliminate a variable, you have to have the same number, but they have to be opposites. Okay, so your first step is to identify the best variable to eliminate. Okay. I don't know why I only have two steps here because there's definitely more. So let's do that here. So on this one, the best variable to eliminate, and sometimes it's real quick because here you already have 3 and -3. So when you add, and you always add, okay, um, you can just go ahead and add your equations together to eliminate a variable. I spelled that all wrong. So I get -2x equals -1. Okay. Um, Add equation of a variable and solve. And so I get x equals 1/2. And then step 3 is to plug back in to any equation to solve for other variable. Okay, so I'm going to do 2 times half minus 3y equals 0. So 1 minus 3y equals 0. So -3y equals -1. So y is just going to be 1/3. Okay, so our answer is 1/2, 1/3, which is really straightforward. Okay, but it doesn't always work like that. Okay, um, so what happens if we're looking at one and they're not the same, right? So in that step 1, you want to identify your best choice. Okay, so if you're looking here, y is still our best choice. Okay, because though 5 and 3 do have 15 in common, your next step is going to be to multiply through by a number. Okay, and instead of multiplying both equations, you're going to want to just multiply one equation. Okay, and so here I can multiply this equation by -2 because I need this to be a -8. That's going to be our best option. So when we do that, we get -10x minus 8y equals -44. So see what we did? We forced that middle variable or coefficient to become a -8. So now it looks like that first one, okay? Now we can add our equations together. We always add, and now we eliminate that variable. And we get -13x equals whatever -44 plus 18 is. I lost my calculator. All right, -44 plus 18 gives me -26. So I divide by -13. So x is 2. Same step, I plug it back in. So 5 times 2 plus 4y equals 22. 10 plus 4y equals 22. Minus 10. 4y equals 12. Divide by 4. Y is 3. So my answer is 2, 3. Now sometimes when I'm looking at it, I'm like, okay, well, I don't have any good choice. Then maybe you should just see if the signs are already opposite. So if I look at the x's, they're both positive. So I shouldn't probably multiply to make those two opposites. Even though I could multiply the top by just -3, right? Well, actually, that would probably make more sense, right? Like, yeah, let's do that because we just multiply 1, okay? So let's multiply this by -3. But if you wanted to multiply the top by 5 and the bottom by -3, you could do that too. So -3, you get -6x plus 9y equals negative 24. So you get 6x plus 5y equals 4. Always add. So we get 14y equals negative 20. And I divide by 14. Y is going to equal negative 10 over 7. Okay? So then, we're going to plug that in. So I get 2x minus 3 times negative 10 over 7 equals 8. Doesn't matter which one you plug it into. 2x plus 30 over 7 equals 8. So subtract 30 over 7 from both sides. So 2x equals, so this is going to be 56 over 7. Okay, so I get 26 over 7 divided by 2. So x is going to be 26 over 14. That reduces to 13 over 14. And if you ever get really funky numbers like that and they're not clean, sometimes it's really good to check them. Okay, so what we can do is we can plug them in. So we can do 2 times 13 over 14 minus 3 times negative 10 over 7. I need that to equal 8. So I've got 26 over 14 plus 30 over 7 needs to equal 8. So I've got 26 over 14. That's going to be, multiply that times 2, 60 over 14. So that's going to be 66 over 14. See if that equals 8. That's not 8, so we did something wrong. So it's always good to check, because I was like, wow, that's just really not right. So 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Negative 24 plus 4. Yeah, I don't know where I messed up. I have no clue. That looks good. So maybe that's 56 minus 30. 26 over 7. 26 over 14. Oh, 13 over 7. There we go. So that's 13 over 7. Aha. Okay. So that fixes that. So let's see if that's right. So it should be 13 over 7. 2 times 13 over 7. So 26 over 7 plus 30 over 7 is equal 8. So I get 56 over 7. So 8 equals 8. Then you want to check the other one. So 6 times 13 over 7 minus 3 times, or minus 5 times negative 10 over 7 needs to equal 4. So 6 times 13 is 78 plus 50 over 7 needs to equal, that's a plus, so that's a minus. That's helpful. I was like, oh, that's not going to work. So minus 50 over 7. So 78 minus 50. 28 divided by 7 is 4. Look, it works. Perfect. So answer is 13 over 7, comma, negative 10 over 7. So if you ever get funky numbers, you always want to check it. All right, next one. Solve the system. So best bet here is, if we look, we can multiply the top by a positive 4. So I get 12y minus 8x equals 24. Bring down my negative 12y plus 8x equals negative 24. look, everything cancels. So if I get a true statement, remember I said that's infinitely many solutions. All right? Okay, sometimes we can have fractions and decimals. Okay, and in order to solve fractions and decimals, you need to clear the fractions and change the decimals to whole numbers. So let's change the decimals to whole numbers. So in order to change these to whole numbers, we would multiply each one of these by 10. Okay, so we'd get 2x plus 3y equals 17. And then this one, we would clear the fraction by multiplying it by 35. Okay, so we're going to get 5x, because remember we divide, plus 7y equals 29. Now, when we solve this, we got to have same number but opposite sign. So 10 is going to be the easiest here. So let's multiply the top by 5, the bottom by -2. So we're going to get 10x plus 15y equals negative, or 85. Okay, and then negative 10x minus 14y equals negative 58. Okay, we add, and we get y equals 27. Okay, and then we plug that back in. 2x 3 times 27 is 81. 17 minus 81 is negative 64. And x is 32. So our answer is negative 32, comma 27. Okay, so changing it is so much easier. All right, we're going to talk word problems. These problems all are systems, okay, but in word form. So, how many ounces of each 5% hydrochloric acid and 20% hydrochloric acid are combined to obtain 10-ounce solution that is 12% hydrochloric acid? So this is a mixture problem because I'm mixing, okay, and I call this my bucket problems. So I make my buckets, okay. So I'm mixing 5% hydrochloric acid, so 5%, with 20% to get 12.5%, okay? And I don't know how much 5% I'm mixing with the 20% to get the 10 ounces of 12.5%, okay? So to get my equations, my first step is to multiply these. So I get 5x plus, I messed up already, I'm struggling, this should be y, plus 20y equals 125. Okay, then I just take the bottom, x plus y equals 10. Now whether you solve this with substitution or elimination is up to you. I'm going to solve with elimination, multiply by -5. So 5x plus 20y equals 125. Negative 5x minus 5y equals negative 50. So 15y equals 75. Divide by 15. And y is 5. If y is 5, x is 5. Because 5 plus 5 is 10. So we need 5 ounces of each. Okay? All right. This is a distance, rate, time problem. And we're going to learn how to do distance, rate, and time tables. Okay? A car travels 250 kilometers at the same time a truck travels 225 kilometers. The rate of the car is 8 kilometers faster than the rate of the truck. Find both rates. Okay, so we're going to do distance, rate, and time. I've got a car and I got a truck. Okay, so a car travels 250 kilometers in the same time that the truck travels 225 kilometers. If the rate of the car is 8 kilometers faster than the truck. How fast are they traveling? So they had the same time. So these are equal, right? So whatever is the same is what we keep blank, okay? If we know distance equals rate times time, then we also know time equals distance over rate, correct? So we know 250 over x plus 8 is going to equal 225 over x, okay? Here we go. So 250 over x plus 8 equals 225 over x. Cross multiply. So 250x equals 225x plus 225 times 8, 1800. Subtract 225. 25x equals 1800. Divide by 25. Okay, so the truck is going 72 miles an hour, while the car is going 80 miles per hour. Okay, so you always keep blank what is the same, okay, in your table. Keep blank what is the same. Okay, let's do another one. While kayaking on Blue Ridge River, this is another distance rate time, Rebecca travels 9 meters upstream against the current, so 9 miles upstream, in 2.25 hours. If it only took her 1 hour paddling downstream back to the spot where she started, find Rebecca's kayaking rate. Okay, so the one thing that's the same is the 9, right? So that's actually what we're going to keep blank, okay? Distance is going to stay blank. So we want to find the rate, okay? Now, here's what's interesting, right? So we have the rate of Rebecca. So we have Rebecca in this kayak, right? Now we have her in the water and the current. So Rebecca is paddling, and the current, when she's going upstream, okay, is slowing her down. So Rebecca minus the current slows her down, okay? When she's going downstream, why did I put P? It speeds her up. So that's why she goes faster, okay? And we know distance equals rate times time, right? Okay, so this is going to be 2.25 times r minus c. And this is going to be just r plus c. Okay, so we know distance equals rate times time. And we're just going to set them equal to each other. So 2.25 r minus c equals, oh, my bad. Oh, yes, equals these. But we're not setting them equal to each other because they're both equal to 9, right? So that's the difference between this one and this one. They're both equal to 9, and this is 2 variables. So the difference between number 2 and number 3 is we had everything is in terms of 1 variable. When we have things in terms of 2 variables, they better tell us it's equal to something. So in this case, we have 2.25 times r minus c equals 9, and r plus c also equals 9, okay? So you can do substitution or elimination. I would actually do substitution on this one. So I'm going to do r equals 9 minus c. So 2.25 times 9 minus c equals 9. 2.25, 9 minus 2c equals 9. 2.25 times 9, 20.25. 2.25 times negative 2 is negative 4.5. My eraser decided it was going to start working. So minus 4.5c equals 9. 9 minus 20.25 gives me negative 11.25. So negative 4.5c equals negative 11.25 divided by negative 4.5. C, the current is 2.5 miles per hour, which makes sense, right? Because the current is slow. So Rebecca is going to equal 9 minus the current. So 9 minus 2.5 is going to be 6.5. So Rebecca equals 6.5 miles per hour. Okay? So that is how we solve those.